There it is, ladies and gents. We are live on Wednesday, right after the Green Day, it was a concert over here at Petco Park in San Diego. And we got a guest on the show today who's on the corner of badass and what did you say?
Hot mess, baby.
Hot mess, baby. We're going to be talking about some building your dreams. And, sometimes dreams don't come out the way we want them to. So here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros Podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business, on social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros.
Yeah!
I'm excited, man. It's time for you to drop the heat, baby.
All right, all you business pros out there, before we jump into the show, just a quick reminder to please subscribe on whichever platform it is that you're listening to us on today. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, drop a review, help other like-minded business owners find value from our awesome guests while we rise up in those podcast rankings. We'll sincerely appreciate every single one of you for it, and if you want to be a guest on the show, we'd love to have you on to learn from you as well. Go to www.businessbros.biz, schedule your time, and don't forget to follow us on all our social medias at Business Bros Pod. All right, everybody, we are so excited and honored to bring yet another incredible guest to the Business Bros Pod. Today's guest knows that building a true business is a team sport. No one person can do it all alone, and our guest can help you create the structure and be the team you need for your small business. We all want success in our businesses, but we also want to keep our sanity and have something of a personal life. With our guest's help, you can have both. From marketing and branding to sales and accounting, our guest can help you build the infrastructure you need to get things done. IT, HR, and administrative tasks take way too much of your time, but our guest can help you free up to move forward in your passion and keep driving business. With our guest help, you will be able to quickly identify your goals, be intentional about your daily activities to stay on target, apply what you learn to grow and adapt every day, effectively delegate tasks, and reevaluate your results to ensure a win. Joining us today from Diam Business Consulting out of Columbus, Ohio, host of the Digital Marketing Dive podcast. Welcome to the show, Shannon McGill.
Woo!
Can I just say, I don't know that I've ever had such an energetic introduction. I will take it. I like it.
Take a bow, James. Take a bow. Take a bow.
This is what we do. This is what we do on the Business Bros Pod. Welcome to the show.
So special.
All right. Well, from the moment you hopped on, Shannon, I knew you had energy, and that's what we love on the show. Because let's face it, it's podcasting. People don't always get to watch; they get to hear. And the more energy we have, the fun. It's just a funner time. I know funner ain't a word, but all words are made up, so who cares, right?
Sure.
Fine by me.
There we go. There we go. All right, Shannon, let's jump into this thing. First, have you always been this excited, or has podcasting helped develop your voice?
Oh, no. I have way too much energy. When I was a kid, my mom used to call me Tigger for a very particular reason. I bounced everywhere that I went, right? And I overwhelm people. I'll be having a conversation. I'll be big and excited and passionate. And the look on their face will be like,
well, but hold on. Life's better that way, though. Hands down, if you come in with energy, I don't know about you, but when I wake up in the morning, it's like, dude, I get to do whatever I'm going to do today. I get to work out. I get to go to work. I get to talk to people, right? It's perspective is everything.
Absolutely. Mindset and the way you go into things, the way I go into things sets the tone for everything. It's what we get out of it. So why not?
Even though we were talking before the show, ladies and gents, for those of you who have been on the show, those of you who haven't, everything that I do in my life lives on my calendar. I live and die by my calendar. And today, I wasn't sure if I was going to have a guest because on my calendar, it said, nope, this person is not coming. If it wasn't for Facebook and her sharing that she's going to be on the show in 30 minutes, I wouldn't have known for sure. Shannon, what was it like? Why did you hit the decline button? First, let's talk about, when things go wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So that is the thing about life in general, but in entrepreneurship, things can go very wrong very quickly. The only reason I knew my calendar completely deleted itself. I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't know what happened. The only reason I knew is because my coach texted me and said, "Hey, is there a reason you canceled all of our appointments? Like, what's happening?" And I was like, what are you talking about? I had no idea. And then I started going through my calendar and realized it completely cleared itself of, client events, of team events, of these kinds of things. Everything cleared off. There were a few things that remained, but they were under my personal calendar, not any of my business stuff. So I have no idea what happened.
Oh, hell no.
Right. And look, you're still here with energy, right? Because these things are going to happen. Like,
yes.
When people ask you about your energy, I know they get the impression anyways that like nothing ever goes wrong in your life. Like everything's perfect. That's why you're always happy, because you have this privileged, perfect life, right? And that's just not the case.
No, heck no. Are you kidding? No. But the reality is, I know what I want out of life, right? And so on a personal level, what I want out of life are 5 very distinct things. Healing and growth. I want to make an impact. I want healthy relationships. I want financial freedom, and I want to experience all life has to offer. So even in these moments when things are going terribly wrong, as long as I'm moving in those directions, and hell yeah, I mean, it's a calendar. It'll solve itself. If I don't show up to appointment, someone will call me or text me, right? Thank God you guys texted me a half an hour before or an hour before. It'll all work out. I am moving in the direction that I want to go. And that's what it's about.
That's it. That's how you start bringing your dream to life.
Yes.
Here's the thing about my experience in life. The business bro, for example, or the business bros, we made that. We created that. We built that. It did not exist. The brand identity that I created online, I created this monster for all intents and purposes. Like, this is something that we did purposely, intentfully.
Right.
Like we did it with intent. Let's talk about your 5 things. Health, right? So health is one of the things that you want to do. What are you doing with intent every day to make sure that you're working towards that, even if it's a baby step every day?
Absolutely. So health encompasses so many different things. And when you want to tie this into entrepreneurship, we totally lose ourselves in the game, right? We totally lose ourselves in the game. And so when you're talking about intentionality, we have to start with ourselves, because if there is no business, there is no brand, there is no supporting anyone if we don't take care of ourselves as the leaders, right? And so health-wise, I look at mental, physical, and spiritual health. It's all interconnected. It's all important. And so every single day I meditate. Every single day I try to work out. Every single day I try to pay attention to what it is that I'm putting in my body, right? It doesn't always happen. I am, after all, at the corner of badass and hot mess. So there are times that I am very intentional, but it doesn't pan out the way that I want it to. But deep breathing, meditating, journaling, it all goes hand in hand in keeping this functioning properly.
Even baby steps, right? Like I love how you said that it doesn't always go to plan. Sometimes, you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, today I am going to walk 3 miles. You get started, you twist your ankle or something, and it's only like a half mile, right? But you went out and did it. The next day you're sore, it hurts, and maybe you only, do 1 mile, but you do it, right? Like that's the thing about progress, is you have a marker, a bench that you want to get to, but it's not necessarily that you get to that every single day, but it doesn't matter, because progress is still going forward, right? It's always a work in progress.
It's that effect that just keeps rolling. It's that snowball effect, right? And what I have noticed so often with high achieving individuals, we have these huge goals. We have these huge dreams, especially visionaries like myself. We see everything from this gigantic 10,000 foot view. And we're like, all right, we're going to do it. Well, the first time we roll our ankle, or the first time we don't hit a goal, or whatever, right? We're like, it didn't go the way that I wanted it to. Keep stepping, keep moving, keep growing, because progress is not a diagonal line. Progress is all kinds of jagged and through the woods and under the river and all that good stuff.
So let's talk about impact. Every day I make sure that I go out and I run my 6 miles, and then I do my Instagram story, right? And I get asked all the time, why do you keep doing it? Why do you keep doing it? I'm not training for anything specific. I'm not trying to do, run a 100-mile marathon like Joe that I had lunch with today, who's thinking about doing that. But I do feel like there are a few people who are watching every day, who I might be making an impact in their lives, who are looking at that and saying, damn, I got to get up earlier. Damn, I got to move a little more. Like just pushing people's buttons a little bit. And to me, even if it's just one person that I'm making an impact in, it's driving me to move forward. What are you doing to impact people? That's your second part.
Absolutely. So I do a ton of very real, authentic, vulnerable videos and social media posts in general. I do a lot of writing. I do a lot of speaking surrounding that, but being us. Our businesses, our lives, the people in our lives, all of that kind of thing are going to connect with who we authentically are. When we are constantly trying to put up this, oh no, I'm this and I'm perfect and I've got it all together, so you should pay me money, and all of that shit, right? That we put up over and over and over again to protect ourselves from potential rejection or potential lost sales or whatever that looks like. As soon as we do that, what we're doing is making ourselves bland. Yeah, maybe no one's hating on us, but no one is connecting with us either. And so I do a ton on my personal and business pages of a lot of those kinds of things, really digging in and making that impact as a woman, as a business owner, as a mom, as a free spirit that does not like to be tied down to a schedule, right? As someone who gets overwhelmed when I'm stressed out sometimes, as someone who makes mistakes, all that kind of stuff. I put it out there. I want people to see that we can link arms and move forward together. It's not about me. It's not about me being this almighty being in the business world. It's about me being surrounded with people that are badasses. We're all moving forward together. And I'm able to give that back in a very positive way on social media. And I don't charge for it, right? I just put it out there and people connect to that. And that's the way I have found my impact is most successful right now. And then speaking engagements. I do speaking engagements surrounding that same kind of topic, tying our lives and our passion in together very authentically.
Try to make the world a better place.
All a better place. Let's talk about that authenticity. So I want to give a shout out to the well, I used to call him the insurance bro, but James has a show called Practicing Polly A, and he had an episode today where it's just him and he's talking about our growing up heritage, right? We're Mexican, but we've never really said that. We've always said that we're American, right? Because we were born here in the US. And so he was being very vulnerable on how he perceived Mexican culture. And I know that he's going to get some pushback on that, but he was speaking his authentic self, right? This is his reality. This is how we grew up. This is how it was. By the way, make sure you guys follow him at Practicing Polly A. I mean, he's getting like 1,500 downloads a week and blowing up. I love that. I mean, but again, every single one of his episodes speaking his authentic self. Yeah. You're going to get pushback when you do that. There's going to be people who agree with you and there's going to be people who think you're crazy, insane, or whatever. When you're being authentic like that and you're connecting with people, you're talking about the positive side. Are you getting any pushback on the negative side? People who look at you like you're nuts.
Oh, for sure. Yes. Yes. Yeah. I actually wrote a post about that just a few days ago about, it started with, let me tell you a secret. I'm a lot. I mean, a lot. And then it goes through like lots of energy, very loud, boisterous, but some of my quirks, that kind of thing. But then I am finding more and more and more, the more authentic I am being, the stronger people connect to me. But on the flip side of that, the stronger people dislike me, right? There's not a lot of middle ground there at times. And yes, I grew up and then was married into a situation that I no longer believe. It was more of a religious kind of situation that I no longer believe. And I am going through this process of finding out what it is that I truly do believe and putting it out there and healing, growing, emotionally growing, spiritually growing through a lot of that stuff. And I put a lot of that stuff out there. And yes, I absolutely 100% non-equivocally get pushback.
You know what? And it's funny because it's probably going to be the pushback from the people who you grew up with, the people who are actually part of that, right? The people you went to church with, or the people that used to be part of that circle, because you're expressing something that's near and dear to them, right? Like some people are, and I don't want to say afraid to let go, but not willing to empathize, to understand that there's a whole other side and a whole other world out there. Right. And so they cling to what they are. And because of what they are, everybody else is wrong.
Yes. And that's the thing that is so important to me. If someone believes something different, awesome. Explain it to me. I want to know why you believe what you do. High five, move along, right? It's totally great. Like I 100% appreciate other people's opinions. What I struggle with are people who say, this is the only way. We can only do it one way, right? And so, yeah, that's definitely where I get the pushback.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Building your dream business requires that you have some sort of financial success, some sort of financial intelligence. What are you doing every day to get that part of your life squared away?
Yeah, so let me just tell you, this is me being very authentic. I freaking love people. I hate details when it comes to operations and finances. So the best thing that I was able to do, I brought on a CFO and a COO late last year. Amazing guys. But also I've educated myself enough to know, how do I read this? How do I look through this? How do I make sure everything is kosher, right? Before I'm off working with the next person, talking to the next person, going to the next networking event, getting on the next podcast, right? So it is important to understand what our strengths and weaknesses are. It's an understanding that we don't have to be the best in everything. We have to be the best and passionate in some things, and then surround ourselves with rock stars who can help us in the other areas. And
I love that.
We lose that sight of that so often because we try to be cowboys. We try to do it all ourselves.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, there's lots to learn out there, but you can't be an expert in everything. You know, I heard Gary Vee talk about how there's so many people, so many entrepreneurs that try to fix all their weaknesses. They find a weakness and they're like, you know, I'm going to spend all kinds of time trying to make myself a master at the thing that I'm weak at. And they burn out because they don't like that thing. They hate it. What you're talking about here is you're becoming knowledgeable enough to have a conversation with somebody who is an expert in that field, right? So that when you sit down and you talk to the COO, you can talk about operations and standard operating procedures and systems and actually understand what's going on. When you talk to your CFO, you can talk about general ledgers and journal entries and you know, cash flow statements and profit and loss statements and have an idea of what's going on. You're not ignorant to these things anymore, and you can ask questions that will help guide your entire company. Am I hearing you correctly?
Absolutely. Well, and I think the thing is, right, I'm educating myself enough to know what questions to even ask or to even tell them what it is that I need from them, right? Because there was a point that I may not have known that, but to be able to set myself up to have those conversations and say, okay, here's where the breakdown is, or this is what's needed to happen, or this is what I need personally, and we're able to work through that.
So what do you think is probably your greatest takeaway? Let's say from, you know, when you were a cowboy trying to do everything yourself until you finally picked up people to add to your team. What's been your biggest takeaway from adding those people? You know, something that you look back and you're like, I don't even know how the hell I was doing it before.
Yes. So my biggest takeaway, honestly, is I'm not nearly as great as I think I am. I'm not, right? I get into these situations. I have a natural confidence. I go with my gut. Let's go. And I truly do believe that that's how things are built. But the more I learn, the more I realize, oh my gosh, I really didn't know what I was doing at that point, right? And so as I sit under, you know, these people who are so good in all of these different areas, and with what we do, I get to come into contact with them a lot. And so as I am learning from these people, I realize more and more and more that I have these conversations all the time, and I'm surrounded by rock stars, and yet the whole time I'm growing. So that means 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago or 2 years ago, right? I was so clueless and just go. And I think that is so important that we realize as entrepreneurs, we always have to be learning. The minute we are like, oh, we've arrived, we're good, we're done, this is what we wanted, and we're not going any further, we're either growing or we're dying.
How do you feel being the dumbest person in the room now?
Every once in a while, I'll text a friend and I'll be like, my ego took a real hit today.
Exactly.
But understanding that's part of it. And the bigger goal is success for me, success for the company, moving forward, right? It doesn't matter if my ego takes a hit. What matters is that everyone is moving forward.
Yeah, and the other piece of that is, I say that, just being funny, being the dumbest person in the room. But the truth of the matter is, that's who you want to surround yourself with. It's not that you're dumb. It's just that the other people that are in the room are smart at something specific. And the reason why they're in the room is because they're the expert in that thing.
Yes.
And to be surrounded by people and experts in fields, professionals, I don't know about you, but it really brings a passion to learning. It must have been somewhere in my mid-20s where I realized, oh, wait, learning can be fun. Like, I didn't think about that when I was in high school or college. Like, learning was a thing that I had to do because I needed to get a grade at the end. But at some point, it became like, whoa, what else is out there? What else? And it was almost like I wanted to become the Matrix. Just plug it in and give it to me. Like, give me everything I possibly can.
Let's download this.
Let's download it, right? But that's what you're doing when you're creating your mastermind, when you're building your team. That's exactly what you're doing. You're downloading that information because you're bringing those people into your team. What does your business look like, and how do you feel about it as you've added these team members?
So it's interesting. I kind of alluded to it at the beginning. We're in a major shakeup at the moment, and we're doing things differently, and we're working on the internal structures to do things differently. And the reason why is because we had our biggest month in March, and it was awesome, and we were very excited, and we brought on team members and did everything that we needed to do, right? But the reality was we grew very quickly and we weren't quite ready for it. And we started to see breakdowns. And then I started to get stressed, and I realized me managing the way we were managing and the way we were moving forward did not align with what I wanted out of life. And so as we talked about it, what this looked like moving forward, how are we going to do this in an appropriate way? We realized that we needed to do some internal stuff. So in order to do that, I kind of gave myself the month of July and some of August off. I mean, we still worked with some clients and that kind of thing. But before we make this new push and we really start into this new process and that kind of stuff, I kind of stepped back and gave myself space to really take a breath. Because quite honestly, since we launched in July of 2019, I have been going solid, and COVID only pushed us further into client work and that kind of thing. So I was constantly going. So I needed some space to kind of step back. So that was the biggest thing. When we really expanded our team, I realized, okay, this is not quite aligned with what I was anticipating at the beginning. This is not quite aligned with what I want this company to be. So now we need to make some adjustments. And that's where having the COO and the CFO and just laying that out and being like, okay, how do we make this work? And having that surrounding me and people saying, okay, we can do this. We can do this. How are we going to do this? Let's make this happen. Right. And knowing that we are moving forward successfully and we're going to be able to scale a lot more effectively and be a lot more impactful for small business owners in this way, because I was willing and we were willing. I had people surrounding me that were willing to push pause, step back a second and be like, okay, we need to reorient just a little bit.
Shannon, you're talking about some business experiences. And one of the last things on your list was life experiences. Yeah. Now, for me, I have a hard time with other people because for me, my business experiences are my life experiences. I love doing this, especially meeting new people like you and helping other companies grow and doing all the things that we do. I love those things. These are what I like to do as my life experiences. But for other people, they like to separate the two. They're like, when I'm in business, I'm in business. When I'm in life, I'm in life. And they're completely separate things. What is your goal on your life experiences? What is it that you want to achieve so that you feel successful in that area of your life?
Absolutely. So that is a lot of what the last 2 years for me has been, right? Just this constant, I'm passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about helping small business owners. And so that has been my focus. But my personal relationships at times have suffered because of that. I've got 3 kids. I have family. I've got friends, right? And constantly canceling on people because I'm working 12 or 14 hours a day. I started to realize, okay, this is not healthy long-term. This is not exactly where I want to be. So that was part of it. But my experience is success looks like to me being able to travel when I want, taking my kids and traveling when I want. And I'm setting the company up so that I can do that. And I do travel a lot, right? But being able to unplug, and that's where I was getting to. We had so many team members, and it was set up in a way that I was the one always on call. I was always the one needing to jump in if a client needed something or that kind of thing. Setting it up in a way that I can unplug when I want to. And that's important to me.
You identified that you were the bottleneck in your own company. You
That's
were the plug
exactly
that's
what it
stopping
was.
from scaling, right? Like to scale, I had to take myself out of this equation. That's hard to do for a lot of people because they have a very strong emotional attachment to their business because they were the Cowboys. How did
I didn't think you had it in you.
That was perfect, Ham. That was perfect. How did you realize, like, did somebody like straight call you out on it? Did your CFO, did your CEO call you out on it?
So it was not either of those guys. It was a friend of mine. And we were hanging out one night and he's always giving me shit. And so he said to me, you're a hell of a leader. And I was just like, oh, I was totally right, because he's always giving me shit. So I was just like, thanks. And he was like, you don't follow any of your own damn advice, but you're a hell of a leader. And I was like,
I love that backhanded compliment.
And I swear to God, that was the thing that got me thinking. And I thought, he's right. All of the stuff that I tell small business owners, all of it, right? Set yourself up first. Give yourself space. Make sure you're in alignment with what you are passionate about. Surround yourself with people who you trust to take it. You need to let go. All of that stuff I wasn't doing. And so it was him. He got this whole ball rolling.
Your hypocrisy knows no bounds, right? That's what it was. You know what? It's funny though. Therapists do it all the time, right? Coaches do it all the time. Parents do it all the time. Yes. Do as I say, not as I do. But now you've reversed it around. Now you're making that change. So where do you see yourself going from here?
Well, we are working on those internal processes so we can launch this again. But personally, my goal has always been in this business to be out in front of people. So that we, Digital Marketing Dive will start back up at probably October-ish. I'm starting another podcast geared towards entrepreneurial women, and what that looks like as a mom, as a significant other, right? All that kind of stuff. And so all of the pressure that goes along with all of that. So that's going, but also personally, I'm doing a lot more speaking, being out in front of people, writing, right, for different publications, that kind of thing, podcasts, but putting myself out there. I am the connection builder. I should not be the manager. And so we are setting things up so other people are handling that stuff. I'm doing what I'm passionate about, and that's going to move the company forward.
It's clear and it's obvious. You like to be behind the mic, or you like to be on stage. That's where you shine, man. That's where your glow is going to be. All right. Before we head out, if people want to get a hold of you, I know you said your website's going to be back up online really soon. But if they want to get a hold of you during this downtime, how can they do that?
Shannon at diamebusiness.com. I'm all over social media. I've taken a little bit of a hiatus from LinkedIn as we're going through this process, but Facebook, Shannon Close McGill, or Diam Business. Instagram, Shan_McGill. You can see at the bottom of the screen, or Diam Business there as well, or Digital Marketing Dive, any of those.
Follow me. Find me. That's where I'm at.
Yes. I'm everywhere.
All right, Shannon, last two questions. Number one, what was your experience like on the podcast? Tell me, I don't know how many shows you've been on. What was it like?
Hosting, you mean?
Or being on the show, being on our show.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. No, so it's so fun. So, I've been on a fair amount of podcasts, right? And they're just all flow very, very different. But oh my gosh, you guys' energy is totally in alignment with what I love. So this is great.
Awesome. All right, last question. There are a lot of people who listen to a lot of different podcasts. Yeah. Who should be listening to our show and why?
Entrepreneurs who are standing out in front of people, and everyone thinks they've got it all together, and everyone's looking at them and are like, wow, look at them. But inside, the entrepreneur is like, oh my God. Can I I really do this? Right? And stepping forward anyway. It's at that corner, a badass and hot mess.
You're absolutely right. I mean, it's imposter syndrome, and we all have it. Every single one of us who's going to step out and try something new, whether it's a business that we're just starting off at, or it's a business that we've had for a while and we're going to take a new direction in that particular business. We all feel like, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. And then it's time to take the action. We're like, oh shit, is it actually going to work? Am I good enough? Is this something I want to do?
Yes!
You're exactly right. That imposter syndrome kicks in. But
it does. But being real about it and all of us connecting over that and understanding that we all deal with it, it's huge.
That's how you make it happen. Just do it. Like Nike. Yeah. Just do it.
Yes.
All right, Shannon, thank you very much for coming on the show. This is a quick 30 minutes, huh? It just flew by.
It did. This was awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course. All right, ladies and gents, you know what it is. It's that time, little promo time, little plug. Before we end the show, thank you very much for joining us for 801 episodes. We're going to take a little bit of a break. I'm on my way to Hawaii, so I'll be back next week, and then we'll be back on the show on Wednesday. But if you guys ever have any questions, you're trying to build your business, you don't know what to do next, you need help, maybe taxes, you need help on marketing, you need help with real estate, that's where you want to hit us up. We are your hub. We've interviewed 700 plus entrepreneurs. We got a great database of people that we can help you get to the spot where you want to get to. So make sure you guys reach out. Go to businessbros.biz, schedule a 15-minute conversation with me, get your marketing stuff squared away, sell your house, whatever you need to do. It's right there. Businessbros.biz. We'll see you guys again next week. Enjoy the rest of your week. And in case I don't see you, have a good, what does Truman say, Ham? In case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation. Or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.